Animals. All right, coming up here on the show, how can President Trump beat the press? Newt Gingrich has a plan.
The left-wing media hates Donald Trump. The left-wing media wants to destroy Donald Trump. This is why they should cancel the daily briefings.
Good idea. We're going to take a closer look. That's next.
If I said to you, oh, there's a lion eating a zebra, you wouldn't go, oh my gosh, I thought they'd become friends. How could that lion be eating his friend? You go, yeah, they're a lion. They eat zebras, okay? The left-wing media hates Donald Trump. The left-wing media wants to destroy Donald Trump. This is why they should cancel the daily briefings.
Cancel the daily briefings? Is that a good idea or totally absurd? Here to debate, former Trump Hispanic Advisory Council member Steve Cortes and Democratic strategist Steve Lesser. Nice to see you this morning, both of you.
Good morning.
All right, Steve, our own Ed Henry has said you can't cancel the White House briefings. That's absurd. What do you say?
Steve Cortes?
Sure. Take it, Steve.
Yes, okay. Well, we're both Steve. I didn't know which one you wanted first. But look, I think it's reasonable, of course. I think that if they do that, they better answer written questions because they do need to be accountable. But Mr. Gingrich is exactly correct. And I can tell you as somebody who was deeply involved in the campaign, I know many of the people in that briefing room. They don't just oppose Donald Trump's policies. They despise him individually in an almost visceral way, and they will not be satisfied until, in their minds, they get him impeached. Now, that's never going to happen, but that's truly the way they bring themselves to this work of the daily briefing. And what it's become really, in many ways, is an absurd sort of gotcha theater rather than healthy skepticism, which is what the media is supposed to do. That's not what the mainstream media has done in regards to the Trump White House.
Steve Lesser, you think this is not, you disagree with him there? I mean, healthy journalism is not going on in the White House press corps?
Yeah, I mean, look, Trump and his surrogates, they need to stop whining about the press, and they actually need to start achieving something. I mean, Steve Cortes, just a couple of days ago, you said, well, I guess there have been a few stumbles by this administration right out of the gate. That's what the press is reporting on. You give them some successes, maybe they'll report on that for a change. You know, you have all of these broken promises, the scandals, the embarrassments. What do you expect the press to report on? If you want to assert there's a liberal media, fine, but this administration and its coverage isn't evidence of it.
Steve, we have plenty of successes, and I would point to the biggest three being the border. Well, you can laugh, but the American people aren't laughing because they know he's working on their behalf. The border is already largely secure, which is incredible.
The border that Mexico is going to pay for, that wall, that one, is that what you're talking about,
Steve? Steve, I'm talking. Secondly, we have a fabulous new Supreme Court justice now sitting. Thirdly, and I think most importantly, the economy at long last is accelerating, and optimism pervades, whether it's small business all the way to the stock market. There's an optimism out there that is palpable in the country. If you don't pay attention to what the Washington and New York journalists want us to believe, instead of Washington, go to Waco. Things are happening, and this president so far has incredible achievements that the mainstream media wants to ignore.
Steve Lesser, the argument, though, is that the White House should just put out press releases, hand papers out to the press corps, get their take on it. Here's the official White House word. We're not going to get any questions back on camera. We're going to do it on paper. What do you think about that?
So you're going to punish the American people's access to this administration and its ability to hold the administration responsible. That's not the way to do it. Again, Trump and his administration and his cronies are very good at pointing the finger everywhere else except where it needs to be pointed, at Trump. He's the problem. And Steve, you can contradict what you said 3 days ago. You admitted yourself the administration has had missteps out of the gate. That's the problem. It's not the press. It's not liberals. It's Trump.
Steve Cortes, final word.
Of course. What administration doesn't have some missteps? Of course there's been missteps. They're human beings. However, I would say this. The media, and I mean, this is, I think, undeniable. The media is out to get Trump, and they are antagonistic in a way that is totally irresponsible.
All right, guys. The two Steves, Steve Cortes, Steve Lesser, thanks so much for joining us this morning. Thanks.